My wife said, "You should retire early so I can finally live my life." I smiled, signed the papers, and transferred everything into a new account, in my name only. When she tried to access our savings the next morning, the bank told her, "Ma'am, this account no longer exists." I'm 50 years old, and until 3 months ago I thought I had a pretty solid marriage. My wife Jennifer and I had been together for 22 years. We met in our late 20s, got married within a year, and built what I believed was a partnership. No kids. We'd tried for a while, but it never happened, and eventually we just stopped talking about it. We focused on our careers instead. I worked in supply chain management for a manufacturing company, nothing glamorous, but it paid well, and I was good at it. Jennifer worked part-time as a yoga instructor and spent most of her time with her friends or at wellness retreats. About 6 months ago, Jennifer started talking about early retirement. Not for both of us, just for me. At first, I thought she was joking. I was 50, not 65, but she kept bringing it up. "You've worked so hard," she'd say. "Don't you want to enjoy life while you're still young enough?" I'd laugh it off, tell her we had plenty of time, that I wasn't ready to stop working yet. But she persisted. Then came the conversation that changed everything. It was a Tuesday night in August. We were sitting on the back patio after dinner, and Jennifer had that look on her face, the one she gets when she's been rehearsing something in her head. She put down her wine glass and turned to me. "I've been thinking," she said, "you should retire early so I can finally live my life." I blinked. What does that even mean? It means I've spent 22 years building a life around your schedule, your job, your needs. I want to travel. I want to be spontaneous. I want to go to Bali for 3 months or take an RV across the country, but I can't do that with you working all the time. Jennifer, you travel all the time. You went to Costa Rica twice last year. For a week each time. I'm talking about real travel, real freedom. Something in her tone bothered me. "You can do all that now if you want. I'm not stopping you." She sighed like I was being deliberately dense. "It's not the same. I need a partner who's available, who's present. I am present. You're really not." She stood up. "Just think about it, okay? We have enough saved up. You could retire at 55, maybe even 52 if we're smart about it. Then we could really start living." I let it drop that night, but the conversation stuck with me. Over the next few weeks, Jennifer brought it up constantly. She'd leave articles about early retirement on the kitchen counter. She'd mention friends whose husbands had retired early and how happy they seemed. She started making comments about how tired I looked, how stressed I was, how I deserved a break. But here's the thing that started bothering me. Jennifer never talked about we when she described this early retirement fantasy. She talked about what she wanted to do, the places she wanted to see, the life she wanted to live. So I started paying attention. I noticed she was on her phone constantly, always angled away from me. I noticed she started going to extended yoga workshops on weekends, sometimes 2 or 3 days at a time. I noticed our joint savings account had some unusual transfers I didn't recognize. Small amounts, $200 here, $300 there, but frequent. I didn't want to be that guy, the suspicious husband. But something felt off. One Saturday in September, Jennifer told me she was going to a wellness retreat in Sedona for 4 days. She'd mentioned it before, so I didn't question it. After she left, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our phone records online. I know, but I had this gnawing feeling I couldn't shake. There were hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize. Hundreds. I called it from my office phone, trying to sound casual. A man answered. "Hey, this is Tyler," he said. I hung up. I spent the next hour going through our credit card statements, bank records, everything. That's when I found it. Jennifer had opened a separate credit card 6 months ago that I didn't know about. The statements were being sent to her email, which she'd never shared with me. I managed to access them through our joint account recovery, We'd set each other up as recovery contacts years ago. The charges told a story. Hotels in the city, the same hotel, actually, charged every other Thursday for the past 4 months. Expensive dinners for 2, charges to a men's clothing store, even a charge to a jeweler for a men's watch. I sat at my desk and felt something inside me go completely cold. Update 1. Jennifer came home from Sedona on Wednesday evening, glowing and relaxed. She kissed me on the cheek and told me all about the amazing energy and the transformative meditation sessions. I smiled and nodded and asked her about her trip. She showed me photos, her and a group of women by some red rocks, her doing a yoga pose at sunset, her having a green smoothie. All very innocent. "You seem really happy," I said. "I am. I feel like I'm finally discovering who I really am." She squeezed my hand. "That's why I think you retiring early would be so good for us. We could both do this kind of thing together." "Yeah," I said. "Maybe you're right." Her eyes lit up. "Really? You're considering it?" "I'm thinking about it seriously." She practically bounced. "Oh my God, that's amazing." "We should talk to a financial advisor. I actually already looked into it and—" "You already looked into it?" "Well, yeah, I wanted to be prepared for when you came around." She pulled out her phone. "I even found this guy who specializes in early retirement planning. We could meet with him next week." I nodded slowly. "Sure, let's do it." Over the next 2 weeks, I played along. I met with the financial advisor Jennifer had found, a slick guy named Brandon, who talked a lot about maximizing your freedom years and lifestyle optimization. I asked questions, took notes, nodded thoughtfully. Jennifer sat next to me holding my hand, practically vibrating with excitement. Meanwhile, I did my homework. I consulted with my own attorney, not our family attorney, a new one Jennifer had never met. I consulted with a forensic accountant. I gathered every piece of financial documentation we had. I made copies of everything. And I hired a private investigator. I know how that sounds, but I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with before I made any moves. The investigator's report came back in a week. Jennifer wasn't in Sedona. She was at the Marriott downtown with Tyler Mitchell, a 42-year-old divorced personal trainer she'd met at her gym. They'd been seeing each other for 7 months. The Thursday hotel visits were a regular thing. She'd tell me she was teaching an evening class across town, then meet him instead. The yoga workshops were weekend getaways. Sedona was actually 3 days in a beach house rental 2 hours away. The report included photos, nothing explicit, but enough. Them holding hands, kissing in a restaurant, entering the hotel together. I sat in my car in a parking lot reading the report, and I felt nothing. No rage, no tears, just a cold, clear understanding of what was happening. Jennifer wanted me to retire early so she'd have access to a lump sum retirement payout. She wanted me out of the way, probably planning to divorce me shortly after while I was at my most vulnerable, unemployed, disoriented, and easy to manipulate in the settlement. Well, that wasn't going to happen. Update 2, I spent the next week executing my plan with surgical precision. First, I met with my attorney again and drafted paperwork for a legal separation. I didn't file it yet, just had it ready. Second, I went to HR at my company and inquired about my retirement options. Turns out, I had way more in my 401k and pension than I'd realized. I'd been working there for 23 years and contributing heavily. I also had stock options that had vested over time. Combined with our other savings, we were looking at roughly $1.2 million in liquid assets, not counting the house. Third, I opened a new bank account at a different bank, just in my name. Fourth, I scheduled a meeting with our financial advisor, Brandon, without Jennifer. "Brandon," I said, sitting across from him, "I need to know something. Did my wife contact you before she mentioned you to me?" He hesitated. "Well, yes. She reached out about a month before your first meeting." "And what exactly did she ask you?" She wanted to understand the mechanics of early retirement, specifically how the funds would be distributed if you retired now versus waiting. Did she ask about divorce implications? His face went pale. I can't. Brandon, you work for me, not her. Did she ask about divorce implications? He nodded slowly. She asked hypothetically what would happen to retirement funds in a divorce if you retired before versus after the divorce was finalized. I smiled. Thank you for your honesty. I won't be needing your services anymore. I left his office and called my attorney. Move forward with everything, I said. That weekend, Jennifer started up again about retirement. We were having breakfast and she had her laptop out, showing me properties in Portugal. Look at this place, she said, turning the screen to me. We could rent it for 6 months, really immerse ourselves in the culture. Looks nice, I said. So you're really thinking about doing it? Retiring? I put down my coffee. I am. She beamed. Really? Yeah, you're right, life's short. I've been working for over 25 years. Time to enjoy it. She actually clapped her hands together. Oh my God. When? I'm thinking end of October. Give me time to wrap things up at work properly. That's only a few weeks away. Well, you said you wanted to finally live your life, right? She hugged me. Actually hugged me. This is the best decision, I promise. We're going to be so happy. I smiled into her shoulder. I know. Update 3. The next 2 weeks were a performance worthy of an Oscar. I played the part of the enthusiastic early retiree perfectly. I talked to my boss about my decision to retire. I started sorting through files at work. I came home with brochures about RV rentals and travel insurance. Jennifer ate it up. Meanwhile, my attorney and I were working on a different timeline. On October 15th, I went through with my retirement. My company threw me a small party. I got a plaque and some gift cards. Jennifer came to the party playing the supportive wife, talking to my co-workers about our travel plans. She seemed genuinely excited. What Jennifer didn't know was that I'd structured my retirement payout very specifically. The lump sum distribution, roughly $480,000 after taxes from my 401k and pension, was deposited directly into my new account. The stock options, another $180,000, same thing. I'd also quietly liquidated some other investments over the previous 2 weeks. Our joint savings and checking accounts had maybe $40,000 left in them. Not nothing, but not the fortune Jennifer was expecting. The real money, about $950,000 total, was now in accounts only I could access. The day after my retirement, Jennifer woke up early. I pretended to be asleep as she slipped out of bed and went downstairs. I waited 5 minutes, then followed quietly. She was at the kitchen table with her laptop open, logged into our joint bank account. I watched from the doorway as her expression went from confused to panicked. "Where's the money?" she whispered to herself. She started clicking frantically, checking other accounts. I walked in. "Morning." She jumped. "Jesus. You scared me. Looking for something?" I was just checking our accounts, making sure everything went through okay with your retirement." "Oh, it went through fine. But where's the money?" I poured myself coffee. "In the bank. It's not in our joint account." "No, it's not." She stared at me. "Where is it?" "In my account." "Your account?" "What do you mean, your account?" I turned to face her. I opened a new account. In my name. All the retirement funds went there. Her face went white. "Why would you do that? Why do you think?" I don't understand." I pulled out my phone and laid it on the table. On the screen was one of the photos from the investigator's report. Jennifer and Tyler holding hands at a restaurant. The silence that followed was deafening. "How long have you known?" she finally whispered. "Long enough." "It's not what you think." I laughed. Actually laughed. "Jennifer, I know exactly what it is. You wanted me to retire so you could access the lump sum, then divorce me while I was unemployed and vulnerable. You probably had a lawyer tell you that was the best time to file for maximum payout. Am I close? She didn't answer. Here's what's going to happen instead, I continued. You're going to move out. Today. I've already packed your things. They're in the garage. You can take your car, your personal belongings, and whatever's in the joint account. The house is in my name. I bought it before we married, remember? You're not entitled to it. You can't just kick me out. Actually, I can. And I am. I slid a manila envelope across the table. Separation papers. You can sign them now or sign them later, but either way, you're leaving. Update 4. Jennifer tried several tactics. First she cried. Then she got angry. Then she tried to claim the affair meant nothing, that she was confused, that we could work it out. When none of that worked, she tried threats. She'd take me for everything in the divorce. She'd tell everyone I was abusive. She'd ruin me. Go ahead, I said calmly. But you should know that I have 7 months of evidence documenting your affair, including hotel receipts, text records, and witness statements. I also have documentation of the secret credit card and the money you've been siphoning into a separate account. My attorney assures me this won't go well for you. That shut her up. By noon, she was gone. She loaded up her car with the boxes from the garage and peeled out of the driveway without another word. She tried calling me that evening. I didn't answer. She called 17 times. Then she texted, "We need to talk about this like adults." I responded, "Talk to my attorney." Here's his number. The next morning, I got a call from her mother. "How could you do this to her?" she demanded. "Jennifer is devastated." "Did she tell you about Tyler?" Silence. "I didn't think so." "Maybe ask your daughter for the whole story before you call me again." She hung up. Over the next few weeks, Jennifer's attorney tried to paint a picture of me hiding assets and acting in bad faith. My attorney countered with the affair evidence and the fact that I'd simply secured my own retirement funds in my own name before our divorce was finalized, which was completely legal. Jennifer had no claim to the retirement money because we weren't divorced when I received it, but once we were divorced, premarital and retirement assets with proper documentation would be largely protected, especially given her infidelity. It took 3 months for the divorce to finalize. Jennifer fought it, but she didn't have much ground to stand on. In the end, she got about $35,000 from the joint accounts and her car. That's it. No alimony because of the affair. No claim to the house. No claim to my retirement funds. I heard through mutual friends that she moved in with Tyler for a while, but that fell apart within 2 months. Turns out he wasn't interested in playing house with someone else's ex-wife when the money didn't come through. She's apparently back in a small apartment now, teaching yoga full-time to make ends meet. Final update. It's been 3 months since the divorce finalized. I'm still retired, but honestly, I might go back to work part-time. Turns out I actually liked my job and I'm bored sitting around the house all day. The money is secure. I've invested most of it conservatively. The house is peaceful. I've been going to the gym, reading books I never had time for, and actually cooking real meals instead of grabbing takeout. A few people have asked if I feel guilty. The answer is no. Jennifer made her choices. She tried to manipulate me into a position where she could take advantage of me financially and emotionally. The only thing I did was protect myself. Someone at my old company asked if I'd ever trust anyone again. I told them probably not anytime soon, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather be alone and secure than partnered and played for a fool. Last week, Jennifer sent me an email. Subject line, "Can we talk?" I deleted it without reading past the preview. There's nothing left to say. I'm 50 years old, financially secure, and finally actually retired by choice. Not exactly the life I planned, but it's mine. And that's enough.